Hello there, it's FGWLD, and I wanted to take some time to look at some of the cards that have come out in the Galactic Overlord set that I think are being overlooked for all of the new, shiny, big monster cards, such as the Heretic Dragon King Autumn, and the Tardy Orc, and Light Ray Grepher, and just some of these cards I really think do have some good potential as sideboard, or possibly a main deck tech, or something along those lines. So to begin, we have the first card I want to look at, which is a continuous spell card called Constellar Belt. What this card does is the activation of light monsters' effects cannot be negated. So what this means is if you play a light archetype, such as Light Sworn, the new Heretics, Light Pulsar, anything like that, and you have a lot of skill drain in your area with the new Dark World variants, with TG Stun, any kind of stuff like that, this could potentially help stop that skill drain from hurting your light monsters and just power through while they're kind of trying to get rid of this but keeping their skill drain alive. So I really think this has some good potential as a sideboard card. So the next card I've got is Storm, and at the sneak event this was a fantastic card because you really didn't have any back row hate in that entire event except for this one card. And I want to mention most of these are commons save for 2, so they're going to be easy to get. So this is a normal spell card. What it does is destroy all spell and trap cards you control, then destroy spell and trap cards your opponent controls up to the numbers your destroyed spell and trap cards. So what this kind of is almost a normal MST. Now I'm not sure, I believe the ruling it will destroy itself and it will count as one to destroy. I could be completely wrong. If I am, then it's kind of a bunk card and really shouldn't be used all that often. But if not, it's a great one-for-one removal. Or if you have some dead Call of the Haunteds, if you run triple Call of the Haunteds now that it's unlimited, you could potentially use Storm to great effect if you usually have lots of dead Call of the Haunteds. Also, with Fiendish Chains now getting more popular, as well as soon to get a reprint, you can, when you get that Fiendish Chain and it eventually becomes dead or loses the target or just it can't be used, storm it to blow something up. Make that card have another use. So I think it depending on how it will read, how it is worded, I'm not entirely sure if it counts itself or not. If it does, fantastic. If not, kind of not really. So this next card I have is called Commander of the Swords. It is a normal trap card, and probably one of my favorites, third favorite out of these entire cards being shown. So what the effect reads is, when your opponent draws for their normal draw in their draw phase, they reveal the cards they drew, and if any is a spell or trap, you can apply one of these effects. Discard all cards they drew, or destroy one spell and trap card they control. I really think this card is fantastic. It's basically a current trap dust shoot for spell and trap cards. And not only is it that, it's also an MST if possible, or even just a not quite a card destruction, but just a way to remove, okay, let's see, they have a back row on me, oh crap, their Fiendish Chain is on the field, well, they drew something, oh, it's a spell trap card, oh, well, it's not that great, I'll just destroy that Fiendish Chain. But I really think it can get, I'm going to try to main board one and see how it works, but overall, I think being able to look at your opponent's hand and know what they've drawn into, even if it's a monster, you still get to look at their hand, and especially if they have a very small card count in their hand, that could really hurt knowing what they're going to be doing. So again, I really think it's a great card. And yeah, so the next card I've got is Dimension Slice. It's a rare. It's the one of 2 that are not a common. And again, this card is amazing. It is a normal trap card. The effect reads, when a monster or monsters is special summoned to your side of the field, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, banish that target. If the summon was an Xyz summon, you can activate this card the turn it was set. So, wow, I don't know why this is not getting more hype. Basically, it's a D-prison that you can just trigger whenever. With the current amount of special summoning that's going on in the game nowadays, this is a fairly easy card to use, especially with the first turn tour guides into Zen mains or something. You can activate this first turn, and if they don't, the turn set, so, and if they don't have anything to stop it, you're gonna hurt them bad. Especially because it doesn't destroy; it just banishes. So it gets around the Zen mains, it gets around the Stardust. If anyone ever plays it nowadays, it gets around a lot of the card effects that stop stuff from being destroyed. So I really think it's a fantastic card, and I think it really should be in more. It should be more hyped up because again, it's only a rare, which I was ecstatic when I learned that because I figured the card like this would be a super at least. So the next card we've got is a little more specific. It's called Double Payback. It is a continuous trap card, and the effect reads: activate only when you take 1,000 or more damage from your opponent's card effect. Place one payback counter on this card for every 1,000 damage you took. During the end phase of your opponent's next turn, destroy this card, and if you do, inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent for each payback counter on this card. So the reason this is specific is because when I saw this, I immediately thought Chain Burn. So say for example, you went second against Chain Burn, you got a double payback, you set it. They go, well, actually, I don't know if you could activate this turn you set, but anyways, let's just say you have double payback ready to be activated. They pull off a Chain Burn, Just Desserts, or Geometrio combo and do 4,000 life points damage. Well, that would give you 4 payback counters, and then during your opponent's end phase, in which case the normal Chain Burn doesn't usually run that much back row hate. Unless they can stop it, they're going to take 8,000 damage. So really, it's a very useful card against Chain Burn. I recommend if you have a lot in your area, sideboard one. I really think it's going to be a fairly effective card, especially when they get card D, so they get that much faster. Well, we also got a way to hurt them that much more in the set. So again, another common that, again, it's part of the King line that wasn't that fantastic, save for a few of the cards, but I really think it's nice. Next card we've got is the only super that I think isn't being talked about much in this set, besides that stupid machine drill. Beatron is a dark insect level 4, and it has 600 attack, 900 defense. Its effect reads: you can send one face-up spell or trap card you control to the graveyard to target one level 4 lower insect-type monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target in face-up defense position. The effect of Beatron can only be activated once per turn. Now, I'm thinking for this card, Insectors. Just splash 1 and 2 in Insectors, because again, it's an insect, so it works very well with all the archetypes, or all the Insector cards. It's also a dark, which means it's great for the Dark Armed. You get to manipulate the graveyard with this guy as well. Also, it's a level 4, so if you run a Hopper variant, that is another level 4 you could potentially exceed into. And 1600 attack, it's not fantastic, but it's the same as a Centipede. But, so the main thing is, say you got a Dragonfly with a Hornet, you play Beatron, or a Dragonfly with something, because you set up last turn, so you got a little play going, they didn't do anything. So you play Beatron, discard whatever's equipped to the Centipede, and if it was a Hornet or Insectcalibur or something, it'll get its effect, because Insectors are fair and don't miss timing. And then you get the effect from Centipede, because a card was detached from it, and then you get to summon from the graveyard from Beatron. So, say you got another Dragonfly in the graveyard, boom, bring out the other Dragonfly, boom, bring out a Hopper, maybe, and then you can just exceed into a 3 and a 4 rank, or you can go for a Centipede and start it. I really think it's it's good potential for doing some nice OTKs. Again, I wouldn't run more than 1 in an Insector deck, but I really think it has some nice potential in the deck. So yeah, the next card I have is one of my favorites, mainly because it reminds me of bacon. It is Boo 10. It is a light fairy tuner, 1 star, 200 attack, 300 defense, so nothing to write home about. Although it is the only tuner that's come out in this set, so at least they're giving it some support. And the effect reads: during your main phase, you can banish this card from the graveyard to target one face-up level 4 or lower light fairy type monster you control. It is treated as a tuner monster while face-up in this field. Now, my friend runs TG Agent still, mainly because it was the only cards we had extra for a tournament. But he actually, after the event, he took one of these and put it into his sideboard, because with the loss of 4 tuners, 2 Earths and 2 TG Strikers, this is a great way to turn your Shine Balls into tuners, to turn your Earths or Venuses into tuners. If you run a Jupiter, you can turn that into a tuner. It's just a great way to get more tuners back into that deck, and you really don't have to pay much because you just banish it from the graveyard. It was not really much use anyways. It's also fodder for Master Hyperion. If it's in the graveyard and you don't really need a sink, you can just boom. It's a light fairy. Again, I really think it's a fairly solid card. Granted, you have to get it into the graveyard. It's the problem. But if you can find a way to do it, I do recommend putting one or so in the sideboard, or maybe trying one in the main deck. So for the final card, we have Overlay Eater. Again, another one of my favorites in this set. It's a light, which is great for the Chaos monsters. Reptile, which is getting quite a decent amount of support recently. 2-star, so it goes into your Gotchis and Shine Elves. 300 attack, 800 defense, nothing to write home about. And the effect reads: you can banish this card from your graveyard, take one Exceeds material from a monster your opponent controls, and attach it to an Exceed monster you control as an Exceed material. When I first saw this, I thought it was originally just detached to destroy, just like Overlay Owl, which I was going to talk about him, but I really thought he's not that great compared to Overlay Eater. So, what this guy can do is, basically, if they have a Acid Golem and you've got a Zen Mains, steal a material from the Acid Golem, put it onto Zen Mains. That forces them to take the 2,000 burnt damage, or detach and not be able to do anything. Or say you have a Utopia and they've got another Utopia as well. Steal one of their materials. So you got 3. They have to detach one, and if you have something else on the field, you're probably going to kill it. Same with the Chaos Utopia Ray. I really think it's just a solid card. I don't know what it would really be run in. It's a little weird as a light reptile. The only kind of form of that is worms, but it doesn't really flow with the worm style. Maybe the anti-meta worms could potentially use it, but I really think it's a solid card. I wish I could find more of a use for it, or how to really effectively use it. There's obviously a use for it, but again, I really think fairly solid card. So that's going to wrap it up for this segment. So this was Grieve Lorn, and remember, it's not the size of your deck that matters, it's what you put in it.